alter ego named Judith, who wears butterfly wings and always finds the ball. You can see the pile of leaves shift and move as she tries to find her way without her sense of sight. Finally, after 23 seconds, the lab emerges victorious with the ball in her mouth and a big smile. Let's see that leaf pile entry one more time in slow motion. Good dog, Stella. Or is it Judith?
And that's this week's edition of the News Hounds Now update.
I cannot see Lola or Louie doing, maybe Louie, not Lola.
The slow motion.
Amanda, thanks for helping out today.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, everybody, we'll see you back here on Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
And right now at 5, there's been another report of a sexual assault in a Madison school. How responding?
Plus, a Dodgeville woman says she was targeted by imposters on Craigslist who tried to use not one, but 2 scams to dupe her out of money.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for News 3 Now. It is almost May, but parts of southern Wisconsin are currently under a winter storm warning.
We have team coverage of the expected winter storm with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti and Madison O'Neill. Let's start with Gary, who's out on the weather patio. Gary.
I'll tell you just how crazy this storm is. It's about as crazy as me standing out here in shirt sleeves on a sunny day and having a snowman tie on because we're expecting a winter storm tomorrow. But that's exactly what is on the way. Let's start out by taking a look at where things are now. We've got beautiful sunshine. The clouds from the next weather system just starting to push into western Iowa, but we should see clear skies at least for this evening. Doppler track, very quiet. The precipitation out to the west of us in the form of just light rain showers over western Iowa. But the cold air hasn't really gotten into that storm system. Low temperatures this morning, hey, they started out in the mid to upper 40s. Here in Madison, we were at 47 degrees. Our high temperature so far today, 61, and the current temperature is right at 60, so we're looking pretty comfortable. Now, this is what we're expecting for tomorrow. About a 1 to 3 inch snowfall north and east of Madison, some locally higher amounts. 3 to 6 inches, some localized maybe 7 or 8 inch amounts from Madison on toward the south and west. Very difficult to see who's going to get the highest amounts of snow, but somewhere in that band, there could be some higher amounts than 6 inches of a slushy, wet snow. Right now, winter storm warnings are in effect pretty much for all of southern Wisconsin. Areas north of Wisconsin Dells under a winter weather advisory. This starts tomorrow morning and runs into tomorrow evening. Winter storm watches for a little more uncertainty are still in effect for parts of northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. So by tomorrow morning, temperatures will be dropping into the mid to upper 30s. Precipitation may start out in the form of rain and snow, but change over to snow by mid to late morning into the early afternoon hours. The snow could be heavy at times during the afternoon as temperatures drop through the 30s at a high of 38 early in the day. I'll have more details on this winter storm in just a few minutes.
All right, Gary had to dig just a bit to find that tie, but most of us have already put away the winter gear for this season. Landscaping companies, however, they know it's never too late in the year for a snowstorm.
Our Madeline O'Neill tells us how snowplow drivers are getting ready in case this snow sticks. Maddie.
Guys, I think I've put away my winter boots 3 separate times this season, so maybe that's bad luck. But with May less than a week away, you'd think we'd be done with this. In fact, today workers at barns are mowing lawns and mulching, not shoveling snow. The landscaping company had even put away its snowplows already this season, but they're back on trucks ready to go in case they're needed during tomorrow's forecasted storms.
We're fully involved with the summer work right now, and we're kind of looking forward to that. But this, as they say, is Wisconsin, and this is part of living here, and it's just something that you have to do. So if it snows, we move it. That's what we get paid to do. So we're ready.
Barnes says they'll focus on snow in business parking lots that will be open on Sunday, and they say it's a blessing the snow is coming over the weekend. Now we'll have more on how to best prepare your gardens for this wintry weather at 6.
All right. Thank you so much, Maddie.
We now know that there have been at least 2 alleged sexual assaults reported at La Follette High School in Madison this year, leading to 2 arrests this week. We learned today that Madison police arrested a 15-year-old yesterday for an assault that allegedly took place back in January. Officers say the suspect lured the victim into a school bathroom and assaulted her. This happened during non-school hours on a weekend. Officers say the victim came forward on Tuesday of this week, and the suspect was then arrested on tentative charges of second-degree sexual assault of a child and false imprisonment. Police say this incident is unrelated to a different sexual assault at La Follette in February.
Following these incidents, we're asking district administrators how they respond when an incident like this happens.
And Superintendent Jen Cheatham says it's not just about being proactive, but about learning the best ways to react when a conflict does come up. Rose Schmidt sat down with Dr. Cheatham, and she joins us now to explain. Rose?
Yes, well, the superintendent tells me there is zero tolerance for sexual assault in the Madison Metropolitan School District and calls it expellable behavior. The school district has been working with the Rape Crisis Center to make sure there are trained staff members called Title IX liaisons to whom students can report incidents. A year ago, the Rape Crisis Center recommended strengthening the district's health curriculum to make sure students learn about consent and creating a consent culture. Even from as young as first grade, students learn about inappropriate touching and what to do if they feel uncomfortable in a situation. But Cheatham says the conversation is about not just how to improve the curriculum, but what to do when something happens in one of her schools.
We always quickly respond to an incident if it occurs. We take them very seriously, but we also always do a thorough after action to review to understand every aspect of the incident. How could it have happened? What are all the factors that might have made that possible?
In addition to having debriefing meetings after incidents, administrators decide if there are other steps that need to be taken, such as sending letters out to families. And you may have also heard about the incident Wednesday at Jefferson Middle School, where 2 Madison police officers say they were injured in a fight involving a 12-year-old, who later was brought to the Juvenile Reception Center. Cheatham says staff members are trained to de-escalate a situation as much as they can when there's a conflict with a student. She says police are only called in as a very last resort.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting tonight. Rose, thank you.
A Montello woman was arrested in connection with a fatal fire in Marquette County last week. The Marquette County Sheriff's Office says that 42-year-old Francis E. Rittman was taken into custody related to that fire. 43-year-old Daniel Gilmartin of Montello was found dead inside the house after crews put out the fire. The Sheriff's Office said no further information about the case would be released until the woman is charged by the District Attorney's Office.
No children were hurt when an SUV drove through the front of a West Madison daycare center earlier today. Madison Fire said firefighters were called to a building on Zor Shrine Place. That's just off Westtown Way, about 12:30 this afternoon. All of the children were either in the back of the building in their classroom or resting when that happened.
We heard a loud crash, and then when we looked out into the main area, we saw a vehicle that had come through the windows and the brick wall below them, and then saw the vehicle slowly going back and reversing back into the parking spot.
Parents were notified about the incident immediately. Fire officials say there's significant damage to the building, including that front wall you saw there, as well as some window damage.
A woman is expected to be okay after being stabbed on Madison's west side last night. Police say it happened around 5:15 p.m. at Dana Lou's Laundromat in the Meadowood Shopping Center. That's along Raymond Road near the Whitney Way intersection. The 41-year-old victim was stabbed in the arm, but there's no information on a suspect. A frightening crash in Milwaukee sends a light pole through a pickup truck's windshield. A witness said it all started when an older RV collided with the pickup. The pickup hit the light pole, apparently causing the pole to flip, sending the bottom of it crashing through the windshield. Witnesses say the driver was checked by paramedics but was reportedly unhurt. Police shut down Capitol Drive for about 2 hours, and city crews repaired the downed light and lines. Police say the RV driver was ticketed.
Today, local leaders are honoring those who never made it home to their loved ones after work. Workers' Memorial Day is Sunday, and today union representatives, along with lawmakers and faith leaders, held a moment of silence for those who have died from work-related injuries or illness. They read off 140 names of Wisconsin's fallen workers, including 24-year-old Alexander Canus of Columbus, who died after a fall at a construction site just last week, and Sun Prairie Fire Captain Corey Barr, killed in the downtown explosion there last summer.
And we're not talking about someone just calling in sick. We're talking about firefighters who might be inhaling poisonous fumes or asbestos when it comes to construction workers. And we can talk about all of those issues. Or workplace violence when it comes to nurses and other fields that it's escalated.
Farming, manufacturing, and construction jobs are some of the most dangerous. The latest data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows there were more than 5,000 accidental deaths in American workplaces in 2017.
Craigslist users beware. A Dodgeville woman says she was targeted by imposters who tried to use not one, but 2 scams to dupe her out of money.
Our Keely Arthur has the story from Dodgeville.
You know all of your neighbors, and yeah, there's not a lot of
Crime.
But recently, a big scam made its way into the small town of Dodgeville, focused on an even smaller item.
My husband had bought me a teleconverter for my camera, so it would multiply the focal length of my lens.
Amy Malore, an avid nature photographer.
These were all taken in Yosemite National Park.
Who loves to get away from technology, had to turn toward it when the piece didn't fit.
I was trying to sell it on Craigslist.
Malore was contacted by a woman who offered to pay $170, much more than the listed price of $120. A week later, a check for $1,850 showed up in her mailbox.
They told me to take the check to a Walmart or a CVS, cash it, and get one $100 gift cards for Google Play. They wanted 7 of them, wanted me to scratch off the PIN numbers, take pictures of them, and send them to her immediately.
She was then told to keep the $170 and wire the rest of the money, $980, back to the buyer.
You have to be very, very cautious when using Craigslist.
Tiffany Schultz, the Southwest Wisconsin Regional Director of the Better Business Bureau, says there are really 2 scams at play here, a Craigslist scam and a fake check scam. That's where a check is sent to a consumer that is written for more than what is owed. The scammer asks the consumer to wire back the excess money. However, often weeks later, when the bank discovers the check is phony, the consumer owes the withdrawn funds back to the bank.
That's the number 3 national scam that's taking place in the United States right now.
Malore knew better and didn't go through with cashing the check.
I quit corresponding with them.
She's delivering this message of caution to alert others, but says she's looking forward to going back to nature, putting this behind her and getting away from it all.
Keely Arthur reporting. Experts at the Better Business Bureau say never deal with gift cards when making a transaction because they are not traceable. For more consumer protection tips, go to channel3000.com. And protect your identity and join News 3 Now this weekend. Tomorrow morning for Shredfest, a free document shredding in partnership with Pelletary and the Better Business Bureau will be at Warner Park tomorrow morning, 8:30 to 11. Please limit what you bring to 3 bags or boxes per vehicle and let the News 3 Now team help keep your information safe. For more information, go to channel3000.com/Shredfest or get a reminder by signing up for our event on Facebook.
We know Madisonians love their Brewers, Bucks, and Badgers, and starting tomorrow night, we have a new team to root for, Forward Madison FC. The team's first home game of the regular season is Saturday at 7 o'clock. It's your first chance to check out the fully renovated Bree Stevens Field, complete with enclosed box seats and a standing room only section. The Flamingos are the city's first ever pro soccer team, and management has spent more than a year working to bring them to town. That's why not even the chance for several inches of snow will put a damper on their spirits.
Soccer fans are hardy, soccer players are hardy. It's like football, you know? You play outdoors, you play in good weather, you play in bad weather, and tomorrow is going to be Wisconsin weather.
That was Peter, the team's managing director. You can see no temperature is too cold for his flamingo-themed Hawaiian shirt. We have a link to ticket information on our website, channel3000.com. And again, kickoff is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
He is pretty fired up. He's ready to go. I'll have to check him out. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, hundreds of students in California are quarantined because of the measles. What the president is now saying about vaccinations.
And a man is in custody following a fiery and fatal crash in Colorado. We have the very latest.
Yeah, let's check out Wall Street as the markets close the week in positive territory. The Dow up 81, the NASDAQ adds almost 28, the S&P up 14. We'll be right back. Hundreds of students and staff at 2 Southern California universities are quarantined as health officials try to avoid a possible measles outbreak.
Officials at UCLA say a student contagious with measles attended classes for 3 days earlier this month, potentially putting hundreds at risk. A similar scene is playing out on the campus of California State University in Los Angeles. Officials there say 656 students and staffers were possibly exposed to measles. The quarantines come as the number of measles cases nationwide has hit a 25-year high, 695 cases in 2019 so far. Today, President Trump, who has tweeted more than 30 times against vaccination, endorsed the MMR vaccine.
To get the shot, the vaccinations are so important. This is really going around now. They have to get their shot.
Both UCLA and Cal State LA say the buildings affected no longer pose a threat to students.
CBS News confirms North Korea gave the Trump administration a $2 million bill for the hospital care of American hostage Otto Warmbier, who later died in the United States. The University of Virginia student was sentenced to 15 years hard labor in prison, accused of taking a propaganda poster during a visit to Pyongyang. Warmbier was sent home in a coma in 2017. The former U.S. envoy to North Korea, Joseph Yoon, signed the $2 million bill to cover Warmbier's hospital care. President Trump is denying that his administration paid any money to North Korea.
Police have identified the driver of a semi-truck now in custody in connection with a fiery and fatal chain reaction crash in Lakewood, Colorado. Police say Rogel Aguilera Medeiros is in custody facing multiple counts of vehicular homicide. Witnesses say that semi carrying lumber barreled down the highway and crashed into oncoming traffic. The wood fueled the inferno that officials say got as hot as 2,500 degrees. Police confirm several people have been killed, and with at least 24 cars and 4 semis were involved. Officials say there is no evidence at this time that drugs or alcohol may have played a role in that crash.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us now. His team of forecasters. You guys really been looking hard at this, Gary, to see what we're up against tomorrow.
Well, you know, between Chris Reese and Dana Fulton and Hattie McLean and Dave Caulfield, I mean, we've been going back and forth trying to figure out what exactly is going to happen with this storm. Well, you know, you take a look at snow depth this time of year. This is exactly what you expect the map to look like. Nothing on the ground. Well, that will change by this time tomorrow. Things very quiet right now. We've had sunshine for the day today. To the west, there's a few rain showers. Don't see any snow on the map yet, but that will change again as we head into tomorrow. Now, let me try to lay everything out for you. The biggest issue as far as the amount of snow is the amount of moisture you have. You need a lot of moisture to make a lot of snow. And the computer models are indicating a fair amount of moisture in either rain or melted snow. And you can see basically a swath of an inch or more of rain, maybe through parts of southern Wisconsin, about a half inch in Madison, and then lesser amounts to the north. Now, again, if that's all the form of snow, you'd get some huge amounts of snow, but that we may see a mixture of rain and snow and then changing over to snow. Now, let's take a look at the timing of this. Starting out early tomorrow morning, we're still right around 40 degrees here in Madison. The clouds start moving in tomorrow night. By 6 a.m., notice the rain snow line pretty close to southwestern Wisconsin. Temperatures are still above freezing. Most of the precipitation out to the west in the form of rain with a little bit of snow on the northern edge. Eventually, that changes quickly over to snow as the air near the ground starts to get colder. The snow falls at a heavy rate, and that cools the air further near the ground, so that by noon tomorrow, we're mainly looking at snow across southern Wisconsin, with the heaviest amounts south and west of Madison, lighter amounts to the north and east, and those temperatures continue to drop through the afternoon. By 6 p.m., the snow starting to wind down over the western parts of our viewing area, and then it moves out pretty quickly, and by midnight is gone, and skies actually start to clear out. Now let's take a look at some of the computer model forecasts for snowfall. The European computer model, we've shown this to you before. It's showing about 6 inches down near the Illinois state line. Look at Madison, 1.7 inches, very little north of Madison. The GFS, the main USA computer model forecast, showing about 6 inches near the Illinois state line, about 3 inches in Madison, only an inch toward La Crosse. The NAN, the North American Mesoscale, this one usually shows a little bit more. It's showing a swath of about 8 to 9 inches through much of southwestern Wisconsin, almost 7 inches in Madison. Take a look at the RPM. This is our day-to-day forecast model. 3 inches in Madison, perhaps as much as 7 or 8 inches in southern Grant County. The shorter-term RPM computer model also showing heavy snow down near the Illinois state line, but a sharp cutoff to the north. Also, we show what we use for our future radar, and that runs out to 36 hours, and it's only showing about 1 to 3 3 inches over southern Wisconsin. So we put all of that together, and this is kind of our consensus forecast, about 3 to 6 inches with maybe a couple of 7 or 8 inch amounts over areas south and west of Madison, and then a sharp cutoff to the north and east with about 1 to 3 inches north and east of Madison, with those amounts winding down pretty quickly to the north and east. So again, that brief mix of rain and snow will change over to snow with a wide variation in temperatures. For the Crazy Legs Classic, we start out with a mixture of rain and snow and probably see snow toward the end of the event. Live view for the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. We've had sunshine for the day today. Look at the almanac. High 61, the low temperature 47. Nowhere near the level of temperatures you need for snow. It's 60 right now. Winds out of the north-northwest at 18 miles per hour. So our forecast includes winter storm warnings for all of southern Wisconsin from tomorrow morning into tomorrow evening. Winter weather advisories north of the Dells and also for Dodge County. For tonight, look for clear skies this evening, then rain and snow possible toward morning with a low of 36. Tomorrow, look for a high of 38 early, and then those temperatures falling, and that rain quickly changes over to snow, which could be heavy at times, especially south and west of Madison. RPM future track model. Again, overnight, look for the clouds to move in, the rain and snow by morning, snow through much of the day into tomorrow evening. Then that snow cuts off. We clear out tomorrow night with the snow on the ground. Temperatures drop into the mid-20s by Sunday morning, and then clouds roll back in late in the day on Sunday with high temperatures in the upper 40s. Snowfall amounts, again, heaviest south and west of Madison, lighter to the north and east. 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures back in the 50s with some rain chances Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 60s by the end of the week. Look for some shower and thunderstorm chances toward the end of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, it's a Friday on the Beltline. Lots of sunshine out there, no snow. Think what it'll look like tomorrow at this time with the snow, but the traffic moving pretty slowly in both directions from the DOT camera at Park Street and the Beltline. Right now we're seeing delays eastbound Beltline beginning around West Broadway going back to Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Fish Hatchery Road and go back to near Park Street. 27 minutes on the eastbound Beltline heading from University Avenue to the interstate. 18 minutes back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, it's 28 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990. 19 minutes to Sauk City on US 12 and 23 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue, US 151. That's your News 3 Now first alert traffic.
Thank you so much, Gary.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, the booze business is doing better than ever. We'll have an inside look at what is driving the craze. Stay with us. Many Americans are passing up beer and wine for the hard stuff.
Distilleries are benefiting from another year of record spirit sales, and as Kenneth Craig discovered, it's part of a demand for craft cocktails.
We took over this space. It was a raw space.
When Alan Katz opened this craft distillery in Brooklyn 7 years ago, making gin and whiskey, it was well before many Americans had an appetite for craft spirits or even knew what they were.
Did you feel like you were taking a risk?
I did, but it wasn't a concern at the time. It was an exciting risk. What I've seen is an immense evolution.
It was the beginning of the renaissance for both distillers and cocktails. For the 9th straight year, distilled spirits have seen record sales. Last year, they were up more than 5%, totaling more than $27 billion. That's paved the way for a surge in craft distilleries nationwide.
What we're doing right now is prepping for a gin run.
The New York Distilling Company serves up its spirits in cocktails at a bar right next door, where John O'Donnell is a regular.
People are looking for quality. They're looking for locally made products. They're looking to support their neighbors.
David Osgo from the Distilled Spirits Council says more expensive, high-end alcohol is a big driver in the booze boom.
When you look at the millennial generation, they don't really like to buy things, they like to buy experiences. And distilled spirits are really ideally suited for that kind of buying.
Katz believes it's a golden age for cocktails.
It's probably at its global peak for all time.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Sales here have jumped by nearly 50% in just the past 2 years, part of a thriving cocktail culture that shows no signs of slowing down. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
And stay with us. We'll have a final check of that forecast in just a moment.
Quite a change tomorrow.
Hard to believe. You take a look at these temperatures right now. 60 degrees in Madison, most areas upper 50s to lower 60s. This time tomorrow, it's going to be about 25 to 30 degrees colder, and we'll be looking at the potential for some accumulating snow. About 3 to 6 inches or more in some spots south and west of Madison, 1 to 3 inches north and east of Madison. Those amounts could fluctuate depending on the start of time of it, but there are winter storm warnings in effect for all of southern Wisconsin for tomorrow into tomorrow evening. Winter weather advisories north of the Dells.
All right. Thanks, Gary. More updates in 30 minutes. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.